Hi guys, this is your boy Alano B, the billionaire, the big brand in Africa as always, and it's Friday, another day. We are approaching the weekend, but today, as always, I talk about farming, entrepreneurship, and I will call it agribusiness. And there's something that yesterday I saw on news, and this one sparked me. It sparked my mind, and I was like, what? What is that? Who suggests such kind of law? So in Kenya, we have I don't know the English name for this, but I will use our term. We call them Ndengu. So they're saying if you're going to do large scale farming of Ndengu without a license, it could cost you a fine of 1 million Kenyan shillings. Really? Okay, let's put that aside. My friend Juma just posted on his status, and he said, Africa holds 65% of the world's largest arable land. Average 300 days of sunshine per annum or annually. Then natural sources of fresh water. That's what we have automatically. Then Africa's population is 1.2 billion. That's 18% of world's population, which the world population right now, I think it's 7 billion. Then, but sadly, what he said is that Africa only contributes 4%. 4% to the world's food production. 4%, 4%. That's a dot. It's just a dot in water, like in an ocean. That's not even a dot. That's something that you cannot notice. In essence, we don't produce enough food to feed ourselves. In fact, 4%, that even can't feed our population as Kenyans alone, leave alone the other 54, 55 countries. In Kenya, we cannot even survive on 4% of their food. Then you're introducing a license of 1 million Kenyan shillings. But now, in summary, let me first start by saying this. As Africans or as Kenyans or as young, let me put it as Africans, I've come to learn that while we are in school, especially in these early ages, like when you're still in primary or high school, what we call secondary or junior secondary, there are informations that we were not taught, especially on two things: entrepreneurship and production. Why do I say this? I'll dissect production first. Production cuts across from food production, industrial, technology, and everything. Then entrepreneurship talks about building, developing business, creating employment, all those. So for me, I just came to realize that when you take these two things and combine them, let's say production and entrepreneurship, these are the key elements that we miss when we are in these lower primary schools, because now we fight to learn them when we are grown. And as an adult, they have always said that it takes much time for us to learn things than a small kid. If you teach your kid how to produce at all stages, how to farm, and then the kid will grow up with the mindset of entrepreneurial ideas. So the kid will have the capacity or the capabilities of turning the ideas of production now into large-scale production, then into entrepreneurship, and then develop these big businesses. And that's why if you come in Africa, 90% of us, we always see as employment as the solution to our daily problems or lives. But very, very few people seek the path of entrepreneurship. And that's where I feel like these lower classes have always missed those chances. And maybe I feel like this is also because of the books we read. Because for us, especially in Kenya, we just changed our schooling system like 1 year or 2 years ago. But before, somebody like me, we were in school for exams. Typically for exams, we are not mentored to be producers. We are not taught how to be entrepreneurs. So some of us, somebody like me, I'm just, okay, let me use myself as an example. Although I learned a few entrepreneurial skills when I was young from my mom, because she's a business person, so I picked a few things from her. But now, if we put that aside, is that we are not taught the skills of entrepreneurship at early stages. I came in university, I was only taught about entrepreneurship, one lesson. And that was one semester, I think, if it was first or second year. Then from there, never came across that lesson again. So generally, you are being schooled to go and look for employment. Then from there, find your way out. That's what the system has always been to us. But then, for us, people who are venturing into like farming, technology, and all those kind of opportunities, then you get setbacks like being fined or jailed because you don't have a license to do certain kind of farming or production. Why will that? Will that automatically, in fact, many people who do this kind of farming they might not get that 1 million shillings to pay the fine. If you arrest me right now and you ask me for 1 million, then please, let me just go and be in jail, because where will I get the 1 million? I don't even have the assets that are equivalent to those, the kind of money you're asking. And then, what has caused the government to reach a certain point where they have suggested that for you to do this, you have to pay a fine, you have to have a license. I don't know how much the license costs, but then that's not the problem, because is it even necessary to have that license? Is it necessary? So my question is, what made them think that maybe having the license to do Ndengu is so important? Is Ndengu a drug? What value does it have apart from feeding the people? Because maybe, things that are licensed, especially food, and then they must be of great value. So what value does Ndengu have? And that now kills the economy, because now people will have the fear of like, if I do this, then it might get me into jail. So are we going to focus to other things? Then who is going to produce that Ndengu? And that means the person who is going to produce that Ndengu is going to dominate the market. So you are going to dominate the market. So that's where that's when monopoly comes in. So when we have monopoly, then we are killing capitalism. Why? I need to have the freedom also to farm, then supply to the market. I can pay other levies. We have other levies that we pay. So why should I get the license? And this also sparks my mind, because now we get to focus on things that kill Africa more than it develops it. I think as Africans, maybe, I don't know, we should just find a day where we need to wake up and just do our things if worst comes to the worst. Because why do we have to be controlled by everybody? Now you can't even, sometimes I hear in Kenya there are places you can't go because they're owned by who, I don't know. In fact, large-scale farmers in Kenya, you'll find majority of them, some of them are not even Kenyan. Like the industry, the pineapple industry in Thika, there are a lot of conspiracies about that thing. You get it? So, for me, I feel like if we want to change the mindset of the young generation, because at the moment you can't teach an old person you can't teach the old ways to an old person. We have to come up with new ways to the new people. These are the generation that is behind us, so that these kids, we empower them with what we call production mindset, entrepreneurship. There's two things that, given a chance in school, if you are to develop a syllabus even to the kids who are still behind us, you need to focus more on skill-based things like production. Teach people how to produce, not this basic, I know there's production, but there are things that we miss. There are elements that comes in when it comes to production, because you need to study production from the far end of understanding what's capital, understanding labor, understanding all the supply chain, understanding the value addition, understanding all the nitty-gritties of these things, because you just don't brush on subjects like the way I know majority will agree with me that if you're in campus, you are taught entrepreneurship, but it was a single unit. Then from there, and in high school, if you don't do business, then you'll never come across entrepreneurship. For me, I did agriculture, and there was a topic on agribusiness, which I don't even remember what it was about. But right now is when I'm contemplating that. In fact, there are things that should be taught in school as a compulsory. Apart from languages, there are subjects that I think they should be compulsory, and this touches on specifically production. I don't know how to narrow down, but that's what my focus is. And let's say at the moment, if you look at the rural urban migration in Kenya, is very high, because we all think the city has our opportunity, but what makes us come to the city when we are leaving our lands? Who is handling them? Who is doing it for us? Because that's when we need to switch, because in production there's machinery, a lot of things, and opportunities are still there. So for me, Friday, this is just my mind. I'm just like, how do I call it? Just giving a roaming system in my mind, letting my mind to think like, okay, can we do better than what we have at the moment? Can we think beyond what we normally see? Can we go beyond that? As a generation, what's our future security in terms of food, in terms of economy? Because I feel like the more we grow, the more the economy becomes harder. At a young age, you all depend on your parents and everything, but when you grow, then you realize there are people who depend on you, and when you don't have enough, that's when you start crying how bad the economy is. But as for me today, I'm challenging you guys, especially farmers. If you have kids, please teach them how to produce at an early stage. Then teach them entrepreneurship. Teach them production, teach them entrepreneurship, then let them combine the two and learn how to make money. If you are a farmer, teach them how to produce goods to the market, then teach them how to sell them, and how to sell them at a good price, not a throwaway price. And also teach them what to farm. Not everything is valuable. There are crops that don't have value right now. You might have a large piece of land, but then the piece of land is not generating enough value for you. So my idea is just to encourage people to go beyond their normal way of thinking and come up with deep ideas so that they can change the narrative of this country. Because for me, I feel like we are not even growing. There are things that I feel I saw them long time ago, and they're affecting us as young people. Because now if you are in an environment that doesn't change, then your change, it's difficult for you to change. So that is just my Friday tip that we need to think. And I have been your boy, Alano B, the billionaire, the big brand guys. Peace. Subscribe on my channel and share with your friends.